And joining us now is attorney Carissa Kranz. Carissa, if you were Harouff's attorney, what would be your defense now?
Legal insanity, and whether or not he understood the consequences of his actions at the time the crimes were committed, and whether or not he understood the difference between right and wrong, which legally is called the McNaughton test. So legal insanity would be the defense used at this moment, based even on this interview, which is going to help his defense.
And insanity is used very rarely, is my understanding.
That's true.
And the burden of proof is on the defense to prove in that case. And this is also a different procedure. What does the defense have to prove, and how are the proceedings different in an insanity case?
Well, it's the defense burden to prove insanity, but the burden is still beyond any and all reasonable doubt on whether or not he's guilty of the crimes committed. So the defense would have to prove that he is legally insane. Well, that will be the question. The burden of proof is still beyond a reasonable doubt, right? So, but the defense would have to prove whether or not he was legally insane at the time the crimes were committed to prevent him from going to prison for the rest of his life, as opposed to maybe a mental institution.
So first they have to prove that he's competent to stand trial, and
Yes.
then they have to prove that he actually committed the crime.
Correct.
And then they have to prove insanity.
Yes.
Got it.
And I think based on these interviews, it's clear that he is competent to stand trial. He can assist in his own defense. He seems to understand now that what he did at the time was wrong. He's showing great remorse. So the question is whether or not, and it's going to come down to a battle of the experts, whether or not at the time the offenses were committed, did he understand the difference between right and wrong? Could he appreciate the consequences of his actions? And based on what we heard today, I don't think that this video hurts his case at all, even though the defense didn't even want it released.
Exactly.
For a couple of reasons, which I don't know if you want me to get into, but...
Next time, because we're running out of time. But Carissa Kranz, thank you very much for joining us today.